Welcome, dear friend. Tonight, the kingdom beneath the ocean's waves, beneath the endless stretch of the ocean, where the world's horizon kisses the sky and time seems to pause. There lies a kingdom, forgotten by all but the whispers of the waves. It is a place that once pulsed with life, a jewel of civilization, where temples rose like mountains from the earth, and where gods were worshipped under the shadow of great stone structures. But now, this kingdom sleeps, buried beneath the weight of the sea, hidden from the eyes of the living, its history swallowed by the deep. It is said that the ocean carries with it the stories of all that has been lost to the world. Kingdoms, cities, souls. The water hums with ancient knowledge, speaking in a language that is older than words, a language felt but not heard. Some believe the ocean itself remembers, that it guards the secrets of those who once walked the earth with the reverence of the stars themselves. Tonight, beneath the tranquil surface of the sea, we begin our journey into this submerged world. The sea is still, its surface shimmering softly beneath the glow of the moon, casting its light on the gentle ripples that glide across the water. The air around you feels thick, heavy with the quiet weight of this forgotten world, as though the ocean itself is inviting you to listen, to understand what it holds beneath the surface, in the cool embrace of the deep. It is in this silence that you hear it, the faintest ripple, a whisper from below, as though the very water has called you forth, beckoning you into the depths of this ancient kingdom. There is no sound of wind, no rush of current, only the soft, rhythmic pulse of the ocean echoing its eternal presence. And as you step closer to the edge of the water, the world above begins to fade. The land, with its noise and haste, is gone, replaced by the stillness of the sea, where the only movement is the slow, deliberate dance of the waves. Beneath the surface, the kingdom lies waiting, a city that was once the heart of a great empire, its walls now crumbled into the darkness, its temples no longer lit by the fires of worship, but by the soft glow of bioluminescent creatures that flicker and fade like stars in the night sky. The grand buildings, once towering over the land, now lie silent in their final rest. Their shadows stretch long across the ocean floor, casting their presence like an ancient memory etched in the depths of time. Some believe that this kingdom was not lost by force, but by choice, that it sank beneath the waves as the gods called for it, a great offering to the sea, to the divine. Whispers tell us that a great flood came, not from the earth, but from the heavens, a divine reckoning that swept through the land, carrying the kingdom away like a vessel adrift on a dark and stormy sea. Others say it was the slow pull of time itself, a gradual sinking into the depths as the earth shifted and the waters rose, swallowing all that was once known. As you descend into the depths, the water grows cooler, the light of the moon above fading, until it is replaced by a soft, otherworldly glow. The water here is clear, but the world around you is still shadowed, as if wrapped in a timeless dusk. There, just beyond your vision, the ruins begin to reveal themselves, the remnants of a great civilization, now covered in the embrace of coral and seaweed. You glide past the broken columns of a temple, their once pristine marble now chipped and worn, softened by centuries of salt water and decay. The intricate carvings that once depicted gods and celestial figures are barely visible, fading into the shadows as though the sea has gently erased them. And yet, beneath the soft glow of the underwater world, these images still speak, not with words, but with the quiet presence of their existence, as if they hold a truth that has never left, even in their fall. As you move deeper, the ancient mystery begins to stir. This kingdom, though hidden beneath the waves, is still alive in the water's embrace. The symbols of its gods, worn smooth by the ocean's touch, are everywhere, etched into the stone, carved into the very fabric of the city, as if they were meant to last forever. You see strange artifacts resting among the ruins, golden idols, their once shining surfaces now dulled by time, clay urns filled with remnants of offerings, jewelry that glints faintly in the pale light, as though the hands that once held it are still close, waiting for the moment when they might be remembered again. But the mystery deepens, as all mysteries do when the questions arise. What caused this kingdom to vanish? What force led to its fall? Was it a flood from the heavens? Or was it the weight of time, the gradual erosion of all things mortal, that led this great civilization to sink beneath the waves? Perhaps it was a combination of all, a perfect storm of fate, divinity, and nature. Or perhaps it was simply the passage of time, with all its quiet certainty, pulling this kingdom under, allowing the sea to claim its final resting place. There are no answers to be found here, only the soft echo of the water as it moves through the ruins, whispering its secrets in a language that is lost to the living. As you float among the remains of this city, you feel the weight of its history, its grandeur, and its quiet disappearance. The water moves around you, holding the kingdom in its depths, as if it is not just a place, but a memory, a forgotten dream that exists only in the silence of the sea. And as the chapter begins to fade, the ocean's hum grows softer, and the ruins slowly dissolve into the darkness of the deep. The city slips further into silence, its grand buildings and ancient temples swallowed by the waves, leaving behind only the faintest trace of its existence. The soft glow of bioluminescence flickers like the last spark of a fire that has burned its final ember, and you are left suspended in the silence, in the mystery of what was and what is no more. Perhaps this kingdom was never meant to be found. Perhaps it was always meant to sleep beneath the waves, hidden from the world, carrying its secrets in the soft pulse of the ocean's rhythm. And yet, even in its silence, even in its disappearance, the kingdom lives on, beneath the waves, in the whispers of the water, in the quiet hum of the ocean, waiting to be discovered once more when the world is ready to listen. Some mysteries, it seems, are not meant to be solved, but only felt, like the soft echo of a forgotten song, carried on the tide, drifting through time, always waiting for someone to hear it. And as the ocean breathes softly around you, you are left to wonder, what secrets still lie beneath the silence, hidden beneath the ocean's waves, waiting for the world to listen once more. The silent chamber of the forgotten pharaohs, in the deep shadows of the ancient desert, beneath the weight of countless centuries, lies a place of stillness, a chamber carved from the very bones of the earth. It is said to be the final resting place of kings and queens, the forgotten pharaohs of an empire long since turned to dust. Their names, once etched in the annals of history, have faded, swallowed by time. Yet their tombs remain, hidden beneath the vast sands, waiting, perhaps for the moment when the world is ready to remember. The journey begins in the warmth of the desert night, where the moonlight stretches across the endless dunes, casting long shadows over the land. The air is cool, but there is a heaviness to it, as though the weight of the earth itself is pressing in, urging you to listen, to feel the presence of something ancient, something eternal. The silence here is profound, broken only by the whispering winds that stir the sand and the faint echo of your own breath. In forgotten corners of the earth, it is whispered that the tombs of the pharaohs are not just graves, but gateways, portals to the world beyond, where the gods themselves reside. These kings and queens, it is said, were not merely rulers, but divine beings, their power granted by the gods themselves. To enter the tomb of a pharaoh was to step into the very presence of the divine, to witness the sacred transition between life and death, between the mortal and the eternal. The path to the chamber is not easily found. It winds through the desert like a secret, hidden from the world's gaze. The entrance to the tomb is concealed, tucked away beneath layers of stone and dust, as if the earth itself seeks to keep its sacred knowledge locked away. Yet tonight, the sands shift, and the way is clear. The door of stone, worn smooth by the ages, stands before you, its surface adorned with faded hieroglyphs, symbols that once held meaning, but now speak only in riddles, as though the gods themselves are watching, waiting for the right soul to understand. Some believe that the pharaohs, in their divine wisdom, foresaw their own passing and constructed these tombs not simply as a place of burial, but as a vessel for the soul's journey into eternity. Within these chambers, it is said, are the treasures that the pharaohs took with them into the afterlife: golden masks, jeweled crowns, and scrolls inscribed with ancient prayers. But the true treasure, it is whispered, is the knowledge contained within the walls themselves. Knowledge not of this world, but of the mysteries of the cosmos, secrets that can never be fully understood by mortal minds. As you enter the tomb, the air grows cool, the scent of dust and age filling your lungs. The chamber stretches before you, its walls lined with the faded remnants of a civilization that once believed it could touch the divine. The stone is smooth and cold beneath your fingertips, its carvings worn, yet still legible in the soft light of your torch. The hieroglyphs tell stories of gods and goddesses, of creation and destruction, of life and death, all intertwined in the eternal dance of the universe. Yet there is no sound here, no movement, only the quiet breath of the tomb itself, as if the chamber is holding its secrets close, waiting for the right soul to unlock them. The chamber is not empty, though. The sarcophagus, draped in ancient cloth, lies at the center of the room, its surface covered in intricate carvings, symbols of power, of immortality, of the divine. The pharaoh's body, long gone, has been preserved by the sacred rituals of those who came before. What lies within the tomb keeper's secrets is unknown. Some say that the soul of the pharaoh still lingers here, that his spirit, bound to the chamber by ancient rites, watches over the tomb, guarding its mysteries. As you stand before the sarcophagus, the silence deepens, the weight of history pressing upon you. What was it like to live in such power, to wield the authority of the gods themselves? What was it like to be chosen to rule, to be seen as a god on earth? These questions hang in the air unanswered, as the chamber seems to breathe with the presence of the Pharaoh's spirit. It is said that the eyes of the departed king are always watching, that his gaze never falters, even in death. But perhaps it is not the Pharaoh's gaze you should fear, but the silence itself, for it is in the silence that the deepest mysteries of the tomb are held. As you move deeper into the chamber, the walls begin to close in, narrowing around you, like a breath held too long. The soft flicker of the torchlight casts long shadows, turning the hieroglyphs into figures that seem to move, to shift, and whisper. The weight of the silence presses upon you, as if the tomb itself is waiting, listening. What is it that it wants to tell you? What is it that the pharaohs knew? Something so sacred that it must be locked away in the deepest corners of the earth. And then, as you stand there, lost in the tomb's quiet mystery, the question arises, was it ever meant to be uncovered? Perhaps this chamber, this tomb, was never meant for mortal eyes, that the pharaohs, in their wisdom, buried their knowledge not for the world to know, but for the world to forget. Perhaps the deeper mystery is not in the tomb, but in its silence, a silence that speaks louder than words ever could, a silence that reverberates through the ages, calling to those who are ready to listen. The chamber begins to fade, the soft glow of the torch flickering, as the darkness grows, enveloping the tomb once more. The weight of history, the pharaoh's gaze, the silence of the tomb, all these things drift away like whispers carried on the wind as the tomb's door closes behind you. What secrets it holds, you may never know. What knowledge was buried here remains hidden, and perhaps it is better that way. Some things, it is said, are never meant to be uncovered. Some truths only echo in the silence, waiting for the right soul to hear them. Perhaps, in the end, it is not the tomb that holds the mystery, but the question itself. And as the night deepens, you are left with the quiet feeling that some voices only echo when we are ready to listen. The tomb is sealed once more, its secrets resting quietly in the dark, waiting to be discovered when the world is ready. The temple beneath the jungle canopy, in the depths of a forgotten jungle, where the dense foliage stretches out like an endless sea of green, there lies a temple, ancient and veiled by the weights of time. The path to it is obscured, hidden by the twisting vines and towering trees that have slowly swallowed the stone and stonework, as if the earth itself seeks to protect its secrets. This temple, once a place of reverence and power, now stands in quiet solitude, its sanctity preserved by the deep silence that surrounds it. Its purpose has faded, its worshippers long gone, yet it remains, still and sacred, like an old dream that refuses to fade away. The journey begins at the edge of the jungle, where the air is thick with the smell of damp earth and the sound of leaves rustling in the soft breeze. The sun filters through the canopy above, casting fragmented beams of light that break through the green, illuminating the way forward. The path is narrow, nearly invisible, as the jungle grows thick around you, guiding you deeper into its heart. Each step seems to draw you further away from the world above, into a place where time moves differently, where the past lingers in the air, carried on the quiet whispers of the trees. It is said that this temple was built by a civilization long lost to history, a people whose devotion to their gods shaped every part of their lives. They believed that the earth, the jungle, and the heavens were one, and that by building this sacred place, they could commune with the divine. The temple was not just a structure, but a bridge between the mortal world and the gods. Its carvings tell the story of the celestial alignment, the dance of the stars, and the intricate balance between life and death. The temple's walls, though now worn and covered in the creeping embrace of vines, still whisper of rituals performed beneath the canopy, where the air was thick with incense and the sound of drums. As you step closer to the temple, the feeling of ancient presence grows stronger, as though the very stones are alive with memory. The temple, once a place of reverence, is now swallowed by the jungle, its grand steps now broken, its pillars leaning with age, and the stone walls covered in moss, as though nature itself has claimed the place. Yet, despite the passage of time, the temple stands, resilient, patient, as if it is waiting for something or someone to come and remember. The doorway of the temple is half hidden, nearly swallowed by the roots of an ancient tree. The stone is cool beneath your fingers, smooth from centuries of hands that have touched it, though the symbols are now faint, worn by the passage of time. Some believe that these carvings were once alive with meaning, each one a key to understanding the divine mysteries that the temple was built to honor. Yet, over time, the meanings have faded, and only the shapes remain, their stories locked in the silent stone. Beneath the surface of the earth, it is said that the temple's true power lies hidden. There are whispers of sacred chambers buried beneath the stone, where the greatest of rituals were performed, rituals that called upon the gods themselves, drawing down their power to the hearts of the temple's walls. Some say the temple was built to align with the stars, that the movement of the heavens could be felt within its sacred halls, that the priests and priestesses who worshipped here could speak with the divine. The stars were their guides, their constant companions, and they believed that in this temple, beneath the canopy of the jungle, they could touch the eternal. As you move deeper into the temple, the air grows thick, heavy with the weight of centuries. The once grand hallways are now lined with broken statues, their faces worn and chipped by time, their eyes fixed on the floor as though they are waiting for the worshippers who no longer come. The silence of the temple is profound, broken only by the soft sound of your footsteps on the cool stone. And yet, the temple feels alive, as though it breathes with the memory of those who once walked its halls, whose prayers still echo in the quiet corners. At the heart of the temple lies a chamber hidden deep within the stone, where the most sacred of rites were performed. The chamber is empty now, save for the remnants of broken altars and crumbled stone. But the air here is thick with the weight of the past. It is said that in this chamber, the greatest of kings and queens came to seek guidance, to ask the gods for blessings, and to make offerings that would ensure the prosperity of their people. What knowledge did the priests hold here? What sacred wisdom was shared beneath the moonlit sky, where the stars aligned perfectly with the temple's walls? The deeper you venture into the temple, the more you feel the weight of its history pressing upon you. There is no clear answer here, no grand revelation, only the silence that fills the space between the stones. Perhaps the true purpose of the temple is not to be found in its walls, but in the questions it raises. The mystery of what was lost, the quiet wonder of what the priests and worshippers once believed. Some say that the answers lie hidden in the darkness beneath the temple, buried so deep that they will never be found. Others believe that the temple was always meant to be forgotten, that it was built not to last, but to be lost to time, as a reminder that the divine cannot be contained, that it is forever beyond our grasp. As the journey through the temple fades, you feel the weight of its history, its silence, its secrets. The jungle outside continues to hum, the wind stirring the leaves, but the temple remains still, as though it is waiting, waiting for the world to remember, or perhaps waiting for the right soul to listen. The stones are not just stone, they are memory, they are story, they are echo, and as you step back into the jungle, the image of the temple lingers in your mind, a place of devotion, of mystery, of quiet awe. Perhaps the temple was never meant to be uncovered fully, for some mysteries, it seems, are meant to remain hidden. And yet, even in its silence, even in its decay, the temple continues to speak, its whispers carried on the breeze. In forgotten corners of the earth, it is said that when the world is ready, the temple will once again rise from the jungle's embrace, its story told in the quiet rustle of the leaves, in the soft sigh of the wind. But for now, it waits, silent, sacred, and eternal, the mirror of the hidden city in a forgotten valley. Beyond the reach of the world's gaze, there lies a city, hidden beneath the thick cover of mist and shadow. It is a place lost to time, where the once bright walls now crumble into the earth, overtaken by the patient hands of nature. This city, once alive with the hum of its people, now rests in quiet ruin. Yet beneath the surface of these broken stones, a forgotten truth stirs, a secret held by the city itself, bound within the silent ruins of its heart. It is said that this city was built not with stone and mortar alone, but with a deep reverence for the divine. Its creators, a people whose names have long slipped from memory, believed that they could reflect the divine within their city, that the very layout, the buildings, the pathways, would form a mirror to the heavens. They believed that in this city, they could touch the stars and the gods would see them, that their reflection would forever remain in the realm of the sacred. But like all things, the city fell. Its walls crumbled, its temples sank into dust, and its once thriving streets faded into the wilderness. The journey begins at the edge of this forgotten place, where the air is thick with the scent of damp earth, of leaves that have long since lost their color, and of stone worn by the breath of time. The city seems to emerge from the mist, like a dream that is slowly taking shape. The silhouette of ancient walls, the ghostly outline of arches, all softened by the haze that surrounds them. The air feels heavy with the weight of what was, as if the very atmosphere holds the memory of the city's former glory. As you step into the heart of the city, the silence deepens, wrapping around you like a blanket. The streets, though once bustling with life, are now empty. The only sound is the soft rustling of leaves in the wind and the distant call of an unseen bird. The stone beneath your feet is cracked, but the pathways still hold their shape, as though the city itself is unwilling to completely let go. And yet, despite the decay, there is something undeniably sacred about this place, something that reaches out to you from the depths of time, calling you to remember. The center of the city holds a secret, a mirror of sorts, a relic that remains untouched by the centuries. It is said that this mirror was crafted with the belief that it would reflect not just the city, but the heavens themselves. The mirror was not of glass or metal, but of stone, its surface polished to perfection so that it could catch the light of the sun, the moon, and the stars. The mirror was a conduit, a portal, through which the people of the city could connect with the divine, a place where they could glimpse the truths of the universe. It is whispered that when the gods looked into it, they could see not just the city, but the very fabric of time and space itself, the ebb and flow of life, the cycles of the seasons, and the eternal dance of the stars. But now, the mirror lies shattered, its fragments scattered across the broken ground, the reflections of the heavens lost to time. The stone that once shone with celestial light is now dulled, its surface cracked and worn by centuries of neglect. Still, as you step closer to the ruins of the mirror, you feel its presence, not in its physical form, but in the weight of its purpose, the mystery it once held. The mirror is not simply an object, but a symbol of the city's quest to connect with the divine, to reach beyond the limits of the mortal world, and touch the eternal. As you stand before the remnants of the mirror, the city's story begins to unfold in layers. The people who built this city, who constructed this sacred reflection, were not just seeking knowledge or power, but something deeper. They were seeking meaning, seeking to understand their place in the vast, infinite expanse of the universe. They believed that by reflecting the heavens within their city, they could touch the divine, that they could see the truth of existence, not just through their eyes, but through the eyes of the gods themselves. The mirror was not meant to be a tool for vanity, but a bridge to something greater. Yet, as with all things, the mirror and the city were lost, their sacred connection forgotten by the sands of time. The city, once a reflection of the divine, now lies in ruin, its streets empty, its buildings crumbled. The mirror, shattered and scattered, no longer reflects the heavens, but lies in pieces, a silent reminder of what was once possible and what has been lost. As the wind stirs the ruins, you begin to wonder, was it the loss of this sacred reflection that caused the fall of the city? Did the gods turn away, their gaze lost in the shattered pieces of the mirror? Or was it the passage of time itself that wore down the city until even the stars could no longer be seen? The mystery deepens as you consider the nature of the mirror itself. Was it truly a mirror, or something more? Some believe it was a portal, a way for the people of the city to transcend the physical world, to catch a glimpse of the divine realm. Others believe that the mirror was not just a reflection, but a window into the soul of the universe, a place where one could glimpse the infinite truths of existence. Perhaps the mirror was never meant to be understood in the way that we understand objects, but as a symbol of the eternal, a reminder that our connection to the divine is not something to be grasped, but something to be felt. And yet, the mirror remains broken, its fragments scattered across the forgotten city, just as the knowledge of the people who once lived here is now lost to time. As you walk through the ruins, the city's silence grows deeper, heavier, as though the very earth is holding its breath, waiting for someone to understand. The stories of the past are whispered in the wind, carried through the crumbling columns, but they are difficult to hear, obscured by the distance of time. As you turn to leave the city, the silence follows you, lingering in the air like the final note of a forgotten song. The mirror, though shattered, continues to reflect, not the city or the heavens, but the mystery of what was lost. Perhaps the reflection was never meant to be seen, but only felt. Perhaps it is not the answers that matter, but the questions, the longing to reach beyond the limits of the mortal world, to touch the divine, to glimpse the eternal. And as you step back into the jungle, the city fades into the mist, its memory carried on the soft winds. The broken mirror, its fragments scattered like stars in the dark, remains, waiting for someone to listen, to remember, to reflect. Some mysteries, it seems, are not meant to be solved, but to be felt, like a distant echo that never fades. The silent watchers of the sacred mountain, high above the world, where the earth touches the heavens, there lies a mountain, ancient and untouched, its peak shrouded in clouds, its stones worn smooth by the passage of time. This mountain is not merely a geological formation, but a place of sacred reverence, home to silent watchers who have stood for eons, guarding the land below. It is said that these watchers, statues of forgotten deities, were placed here by a civilization that believed the gods dwelled not just in the heavens, but in the very mountains and stones of the earth. And so, they raised their sacred guardians to watch over the land, to bear witness to the passage of time, to keep the silence of eternity. The journey begins at the foot of the mountain, where the air is thin, and the world seems to shrink beneath the weight of its ancient presence. The earth here is rugged, jagged stone cutting into the soft, green undergrowth, and the path winds upward like a slow exhalation, each step carrying you closer to the mountain's summit, where the air grows cold and the wind howls with the voices of the past. The higher you climb, the more the world falls away beneath you, until you are surrounded only by the mountain, its silence, and the ancient figures that stand sentinel at its peak. It is said that those who walk this path are not merely climbing a mountain, but ascending into the realm of the divine. The mountain, in its quiet majesty, is a bridge between the earth and the heavens, a place where the gods once spoke, where they once moved among the people who worshipped them. These silent watchers, the statues of the forgotten deities, stand in solemn vigil, their gazes fixed on the horizon, as though they are waiting for something to return. Their faces are worn, their features eroded by the wind and rain, but the presence they carry is palpable, as though they still hold the wisdom of ages, still protect the sacred space they were created to guard. The wind grows stronger as you ascend, its howl cutting through the silence like a prayer long forgotten. The statues stand tall, their stone bodies weathered by centuries of storms, but still, their presence is undeniable. The eyes of the gods, once full of life, are now empty, their expressions frozen in time, yet there is a quiet, sacred energy in their gaze. Some say that these statues are not simply markers of a long-past civilization, but that they are the guardians of something far greater, something hidden within the mountain itself. They are not silent because they do not speak, but because they have seen the passage of time. They have witnessed the rise and fall of empires, and they wait, not for something to come, but for something to be remembered. As you reach the summit, the wind howls around you, its breath cold against your skin. The mountain seems to rise endlessly into the sky, its peak lost in the swirling clouds that swirl around it. Here, at the pinnacle, the watchers stand in their eternal silence, their faces turned toward the horizon, their eyes distant, as though they are looking not at the land before them, but at something beyond the earth, beyond time itself. It is said that the gods who once inhabited this mountain are not gods of thunder or war, but gods of silence, of stillness, of eternity. They are the ones who see without judging, who listen without speaking, and in their silence, they hold the secrets of the universe, the quiet truths that can only be understood when the noise of the world fades away. The statues, though weathered and broken, still stand as they have for centuries. Their hands are outstretched, their feet rooted in the earth, as though they are holding the mountain itself together, preserving the sacredness of the space. But the silence of the mountain is not one of absence, but of presence. There is a certain peace here, a peace that comes with standing in the face of eternity, in the presence of something that has seen all that is and all that was. The air grows heavy with this ancient stillness, and you are left to wonder, what is it that these statues know? What secrets do they hold, waiting in the quiet shadows of their gaze? The mountain holds its mystery like a precious stone buried deep within the earth, too sacred to be uncovered, too ancient to be fully understood. It is said that those who seek the truth here may never find it, for the mountain is not meant to reveal its secrets to just anyone. Perhaps it is not meant to be known, but only felt, the presence of the divine that lingers in the silence of the statues, in the stillness of the mountain, in the spaces between the winds. Some believe that only in the silence, only when the world falls away, can one truly hear the whispers of the gods. The mountain asks nothing of you, and yet it offers everything, not in the form of answers, but in the offering of quiet, of peace, of eternity. As the journey fades, and you turn to leave the summit, the wind continues to blow. The clouds swirl above you, and the statues stand in their eternal watch. Perhaps, like the mountain itself, they are not meant to be understood, but only to be witnessed, only to be remembered in the stillness they offer. The mountain holds its secrets close, its guardians standing watch, waiting not for something to come, but for something to return, perhaps not in the form of gods or worshippers, but in the quiet understanding that time is endless, and that silence holds its own truth. The journey down the mountain is slow, as if the very air pulls you back into the world below. The wind fades, the silence lingers, and the statues remain, rooted to the earth, watching, waiting. The mountain's mystery is not one to be solved, but to be felt in the quiet, in the space between heartbeats, in the pause of breath. And as you descend into the valley below, the mountain stands tall behind you, its watchers still gazing at the horizon, holding the eternal peace that only they can know. Perhaps, like the mountain, some mysteries are not meant to be fully understood, but only to be felt in the silence, in the space between time, in the sacred stillness of the world. And as the world falls away, you are left with the sense that the mountain, with all its ancient wisdom, will remain, waiting, watching, in its quiet, eternal silence. The path to the forgotten library, in the heart of an ancient, mist-shrouded forest, where the trees stand like silent sentinels, a path winds its way toward a forgotten library, This library, long hidden from the eyes of the world, once held the collective wisdom of a civilization lost to the sands of time. Its walls, now crumbled by age and neglect, are covered in ivy and moss, as though nature herself seeks to reclaim what once was. Yet beneath the quiet ruins, there is still a pulse, faint but undeniable, a quiet hum that speaks of a knowledge waiting to be rediscovered. The journey begins as you step onto the hidden path, where the air is thick with the scent of damp earth and the soft rustle of leaves beneath your feet. The forest is dense, the trees towering above you like guardians of some ancient secret. Sunlight filters through the thick canopy in broken rays, casting long shadows on the forest floor. It is a peaceful place, yet the stillness carries with it the weight of something forgotten, something long buried beneath the earth. The path is narrow, winding through the thick underbrush, as if it too has been hidden, waiting to be uncovered by those who are meant to find it. It is said that this library was not merely a place of learning, but a sanctuary, a sacred space where the greatest minds of an ancient civilization gathered to record their knowledge, their discoveries, and their truths. Some believe that the library held the key to understanding the mysteries of the universe, the very fabric of existence itself. Its shelves, once filled with scrolls and manuscripts, contained wisdom that spanned across every field of knowledge: philosophy, astronomy, medicine, and even the mysteries of the soul. The people who built this library believed that through knowledge they could touch the divine, and they sought to preserve their understanding for future generations. But now, the library is silent, its treasures lost to time, its shelves empty, as if the earth herself has swallowed its secrets. As you make your way deeper into the forest, the path narrows further, the trees growing thicker around you, their trunks like ancient pillars, their branches intertwined above like the ribs of a great, forgotten creature. The air grows cooler, the quiet of the forest enveloping you, and with every step, the world outside seems to fade away. The only sound is the soft crunch of leaves beneath your feet and the distant call of a bird, a sound that seems both out of place and perfectly at home in this sacred space. Soon you begin to see it. The first signs of the library. The stone walls emerge from the forest floor, half hidden beneath the thick blanket of moss and ivy. The once grand arches now lie in ruins, their edges crumbled and worn by the relentless passage of time. But even in its decay, the library holds a quiet majesty, as though it is waiting for the world to remember, waiting for the moment when it will once again become a place of reverence. As you approach the crumbling structure, the air around you grows heavy with the weight of history. The stone is cool to the touch, and as you run your fingers over the surface, you feel the faintest trace of something ancient, something that has been here for much longer than you can imagine. The walls are covered with intricate carvings, their meanings lost to the ages, yet they still hold a beauty, a grace that speaks to something beyond time. Some of the carvings depict celestial bodies, stars and planets arranged in patterns that hint at a knowledge of the heavens. Others depict figures in flowing robes, their hands raised in silent prayer, as though they are calling upon forces beyond the earth. There is no sound here, no voice, no movement, only the stillness that wraps itself around the ruins like a protective shroud. Yet in that silence, you can almost hear the faint echo of those who once walked these halls. their voices soft and distant, like whispers carried on the wind. The library was not just a building, but a living entity, its very walls filled with the breath of knowledge. It is said that those who entered the library did not leave with mere facts or teachings, but with something deeper, a sense of connection, a feeling that they had touched something greater than themselves. As you move deeper into the ruins, you find what is left of the great chamber, a vast space that once held the heart of the library. The floor is covered in broken stone, and the shelves that once held the scrolls and manuscripts are now empty, their wood decayed by centuries of neglect. Yet, the room still holds an undeniable presence, a sacred energy that seems to linger in the air. There, in the center of the chamber, lies a large, flat stone, its surface worn smooth by the passage of time. Some believe that this stone was once an altar where offerings were made to the gods of knowledge, where the greatest scholars of the age came to meditate and reflect on the mysteries of the universe. And here, in the quiet of the ruined library, the mystery deepens. What happened to the knowledge that was once preserved here? Where did it go? And why was the library abandoned, left to crumble into dust? Some say that it was the slow passage of time that claimed the library, that it simply faded into obscurity, like so many other great centers of learning. Others whisper that the library was intentionally hidden, its knowledge buried by those who feared the power it contained. Perhaps the library was never meant to be found, but only to be glimpsed, a fleeting memory of a civilization whose understanding of the world was so vast, so sacred, that it could never be fully understood. As you leave the ruins, the air shifts, and the path behind you begins to fade into the mist of the forest. The library, though silent, still holds its secrets, its wisdom, its history, its truth, waiting for the world to listen, waiting for the right soul to understand. Perhaps it was never meant to be found, but only to be felt, like a dream that lingers at the edges of memory, slipping away just before it can be fully grasped. The mysteries of the library, though lost to time, remain within the very stones, the very air, waiting to be discovered when the world is ready. Perhaps in the end, some truths are not meant to be found. Perhaps the library's knowledge was always meant to live in the silence, carried by the wind, whispered in the rustling of the leaves. The forest, like the library, holds its own mysteries, its own secrets, waiting for the right moment to reveal them. And as the fog thickens around you, you are left with the quiet feeling that some things are better left forgotten, their wisdom wrapped in silence, waiting to be uncovered when the world is ready to listen. The library, now lost to the world, fades into the mist, its secrets buried beneath the earth. Some stories, like the wind, will never be fully understood. They are merely carried, gently, through time, waiting for the right soul to hear them. The sacred garden of the fallen empire. Amidst the ruins of a once great empire, hidden from the world by time and the relentless forces of nature, there lies a garden, a place of quiet beauty where flowers once bloomed in abundant color and life, and the air was thick with the fragrance of rare herbs and sacred plants. Now, the garden stands as a silent memorial, its former vibrancy dulled by age, yet still holding a quiet power, a sense of sacredness that has never truly left. This garden was not just a place of nature's beauty, but a space where the divine and the earthly met, a place where the rulers of an empire once sought wisdom, guidance, and peace. The journey begins in the soft warmth of the evening sun, where the air is filled with the quiet hum of the earth, the distant rustle of leaves carried up by the breeze. As you step into the overgrown ruins, the garden appears like a dream, a tranquil oasis in the heart of the empire's decay. The once great walls of stone, now crumbled and covered in moss, still mark the boundaries of the garden, enclosing it like a hidden space, untouched by the outside world. The air here feels different, still, as though time itself has slowed, allowing you to pause and reflect. The people who tended this garden were not simply gardeners or workers. They were priests and keepers of sacred knowledge, entrusted with the care of this holy space. The garden was designed not just for beauty, but for peace, a space where the emperors and the priests could come to commune with the divine, to seek clarity in their hearts and minds, to ask the gods for guidance in the matters of the empire. The paths were laid out with intention, the plants carefully chosen for their symbolic meaning, for their connection to the heavens and the earth. Each flower, each tree, was a symbol of something greater, a reminder of the delicate balance between life and death, of the cycles that govern both the natural world and the soul. Some say that the garden was built as a place of healing, a sanctuary for the body and the spirit, where the rulers of the empire came to meditate, to seek solace in the embrace of nature. There are whispers that the plants in this sacred space held more than just medicinal value, that they were chosen for their power to connect with the divine, to open the heart and mind to higher wisdom. The waters of the small fountain at the center of the garden were believed to be blessed by the gods, and many would come to drink from it or bathe in its cool waters, seeking to be cleansed of both physical and spiritual ailments. As you walk through the garden, the once pristine paths are now cracked and overgrown, the stones worn smooth by the weight of time. The flowers that once flourished here are now faded, their petals crumbling into the earth. Yet they still hold a kind of quiet dignity. The trees that once shaded the emperor's steps now stand tall but barren, their branches reaching toward the sky like old weathered hands. Yet even in their barrenness, the trees hold a beauty, a grace that comes with age, as if they have watched over this sacred place for eternity. The fountain at the center of the garden is still intact, though its waters no longer flow. The stone basin, once carved with intricate symbols of the gods, now stands silent, its surface still, reflecting the soft light of the dying day. The carvings are faded, worn by time and the slow erosion of the earth, but they are still visible, their meaning now a distant memory, their wisdom buried in the silence of the garden. What did these symbols once mean? What was their significance to the people who tended this sacred space? Perhaps the answers are lost, like the rest of the empire, swept away by the sands of time. Or perhaps the answers are here, hidden beneath the silence, waiting to be uncovered when the world is ready to listen. As the sun sets and the shadows grow longer, the garden seems to transform, becoming something different, something ancient, something eternal. The colors of the flowers fade into twilight. The trees cast long, deep shadows across the stone, and the air grows cooler, thicker with the weight of time. The silence of the garden deepens, and with it, a sense of reverence grows, not just for the beauty of the place, but for the history it holds, for the people who once walked here, seeking peace, seeking understanding, seeking connection to something greater than themselves. But as you stand in the heart of the garden, surrounded by its quiet beauty, a question arises. What happened to this empire? What caused its fall, its eventual disappearance, leaving only these ruins behind? Was it the slow passage of time, the natural forces of decay that took their toll? Or was it something more, something unseen, a divine reckoning perhaps, that caused the empire to crumble into silence? The garden remains, a living testament to a time that once was, but the empire is gone, its people lost to the pages of history. What can we learn from this garden, from the peaceful stillness it offers? Perhaps the lesson is in the silence itself, that all things, no matter how grand, must eventually fade, and that the most sacred spaces are those that endure, even in their decay. As the last light of day slips away, the garden falls into shadow, its mysteries resting beneath the weight of the coming night. The quiet hum of the earth seems to fade, and the air grows still once more. What remains is the sacredness of the space, the reminder that all things are cyclical, that life and death, growth and decay, are all part of the same eternal dance. The garden, though abandoned, remains a sanctuary of memory, of beauty, and of reverence for the divine forces that shaped it. Perhaps, like this garden, some things are never meant to last. Perhaps their true beauty lies in their impermanence, in the way they endure, quietly and patiently, through the passage of time. And as the stars begin to twinkle above, the garden waits in the silence, its story told not in words, but in the soft rustle of leaves, in the stillness of its paths, in the echo of its forgotten beauty. It is a place of peace, of memory, and of quiet understanding, a place where time slows, and the soul can find its way back to the sacred. The garden stands, waiting, as the world fades into night. Some voices only echo when we are ready to listen, and this garden, this sacred space, will continue to speak, softly, eternally, to those who seek its wisdom. The moonlit ruins of the Temple of the Stars, high upon a lonely hill, where the earth falls away into the quiet expanse of the night, there stands a temple, or rather, what remains of one. Time has woven its quiet tapestry here, and the stones of this once sacred place are worn, their edges softened by centuries of wind and rain. The temple was dedicated to the stars, to the celestial bodies that moved across the sky, like ancient guardians, watching over the world below. The people who built this temple believed that through the stars, they could connect with the divine, that in the quiet, distant light of those eternal orbs, they could touch the heavens themselves. Tonight, as the moon casts its silver glow over the land, the temple is bathed in an ethereal light, as though the heavens have turned their gaze back upon this forgotten space. The journey begins in the stillness of the evening, where the air is cool and thick with the scent of earth, the horizon stretching out before you like a darkened canvas, dotted with the soft flicker of stars. The path to the temple is narrow, winding up the hill, where the world below grows distant, and the only sound is the quiet rustle of leaves in the breeze. The earth beneath your feet is solid, ancient, as though the land itself is carrying you to a place that has always existed, waiting for you to come and remember. The temple, though now a ruin, still stands in quiet majesty, The columns, once tall and strong, are now broken and crumbled, their once smooth surfaces now jagged and worn. The carvings that once adorned the walls, images of gods, of celestial symbols, of cosmic alignments, are faint, their details softened by the slow passage of time. But there is a beauty in this decay, in the way the stones have weathered, in the way the temple's purpose seems to have faded into the earth itself. It is as if the temple, once filled with the sacred energy of prayers and rituals, now rests in silence, waiting for the world to return to it. Some believe that this temple was built to honor the stars themselves, that its stones were carefully aligned with the constellations above, that the priests and worshippers who gathered here could feel the pulse of the cosmos beneath their feet. The stars were not merely distant lights in the sky, but living beings, powerful forces that shaped the world and guided the people who called this place home. The temple, they believed, was a conduit between the earth and the heavens, a place where the divine could be touched, where the secrets of the universe could be unlocked. As you step closer to the ruins, the air seems to shift, the stillness growing deeper, thicker. The moonlight casts long shadows across the stones, and the once glorious architecture of the temple now feels like a memory, a ghostly echo of a time long past. The space feels vast, yet intimate, as though the temple was built not to overwhelm, but to welcome those who sought communion with the stars. And now, even in its ruin, the temple still holds that sacred feeling, as though it is not just a place of stone, but a vessel, carrying with it the quiet ancient energy of those who once worshipped here. In the heart of the temple lies an altar, its surface worn smooth by centuries of offerings, of prayers spoken in the stillness of the night. It is said that this altar was used to make offerings to the stars, to send prayers up into the heavens, where the gods could hear them and answer in ways that only the stars could reveal. The altar is now empty, its purpose long forgotten, but there is still something sacred about it, something that speaks of a time when the people who lived here believed deeply in the power of the stars. Some say that even now, the altar holds the echoes of those prayers, that if you stand there long enough, you might hear the faintest whisper of a prayer from the past, drifting on the wind, carried on the breath of the earth itself. The stars above you are distant now, their light faint against the vastness of the night sky, yet their presence is undeniable. It is as though the stars are watching over the temple still, though the people who once worshipped them have long since disappeared. The moon casts its soft glow over the ruins, illuminating the broken columns and shattered stone, and for a moment, it feels as though the heavens themselves are weeping for this forgotten place, for the knowledge that was lost, for the connection between the earth and the stars that has since been severed. As you stand in the center of the temple, surrounded by the ruins of a civilization that once touched the divine, the mystery deepens. What happened to the people who built this temple? What caused the stars to turn their gaze away from this sacred space, leaving it to crumble into dust? Was it the passage of time, the slow decay of all things? Or was there something more, something hidden beneath the surface of this forgotten place? A secret that the temple itself is keeping. The journey through the temple is not one of answers, but of questions. Questions that hang in the air like the stars themselves, distant and unreachable, yet always present. And as the moon begins its slow descent, the temple grows still once more, its silence wrapping around you like a blanket. Perhaps the answers are not meant to be found, for some mysteries, it seems, are not meant to be solved, but only felt. The temple, in its quiet grandeur, holds its secrets close, waiting for the world to remember, waiting for someone to hear the call that the stars once made. As you leave the temple and descend the hill, the stars remain overhead, their quiet light watching over the land, their ancient rhythm unbroken. The temple, though forgotten by time, still holds the presence of those who once built it, of those who once prayed beneath the stars, seeking something greater than themselves. And as the winds stir the trees and the night deepens, you are left with the sense that the stars, like the temple, are waiting, waiting for someone to remember, waiting for someone to listen. Some voices only echo when we are ready to hear them, and the stars, forever and always, are waiting to guide us. The song of the forgotten islands, far beyond the reach of known maps, where the endless horizon meets the vastness of the ocean. There lie islands, islands so remote, so untouched by the hands of time, that they remain hidden from all but the whispers of the sea. These islands, like fragile pearls scattered across the face of the earth, were once home to a people whose voices filled the air with song, their melodies carried on the wind, blending with the rhythm of the waves. But now, the islands rest in silence, their shores untouched by human footsteps, their stories slowly fading into the distant past. Tonight, as the gentle hum of the ocean surrounds you, the journey begins with the soft sound of the waves lapping against the shore. The salt air is thick with the scent of the sea, the cool breeze brushing against your skin like the touch of forgotten memories. The ocean stretches out before you, vast and unbroken, its surface shimmering beneath the soft glow of the moon. The islands, though distant, seem to call to you from across the waves, a call that is faint, like the last notes of a song carried on the wind. The islands, though shrouded in mystery, were once known for their harmony with the sea, their music intertwining with the rhythm of the tides. It is said that the people who lived here did not merely exist with the land, but in communion with it, their lives marked by the cycles of the ocean, their songs a language of connection between earth and sky, land and sea. The islands were not just a home, but a sanctuary, a place where the natural world was revered, where the divine and the earthly met in quiet symphony. As you approach the islands, the sound of the waves grows louder, their gentle crash against the rocks a soothing, rhythmic pulse. The first thing you notice as you step onto the shore is the quiet, the overwhelming stillness of the place. The land seems untouched, the jungle thick and lush, the trees stretching high into the sky, their leaves swaying in the soft breeze. The song of the islanders is gone now, their voices faded with the passing of time, but the echoes of it linger, carried on the wind, as if the very land itself holds a memory of the melodies that once filled the air. The path through the jungle is winding and narrow, the dense foliage pressing in on all sides, as though the island is protecting its secrets, hiding its past beneath layers of green. You move through the shadows of the trees, the occasional flicker of moonlight filtering through the canopy above, casting the path in soft silver. The air is thick with the scent of damp earth, and the only sound is the rustle of leaves underfoot and the distant call of a bird. its cry a soft, lonely note, as if it, too, is waiting for something to return. Deep within the heart of the island, you find what remains of the village, a series of stone structures, now crumbled and overgrown, their walls worn smooth by the touch of time. The carvings on the stone are faint, barely visible beneath the thick vines and moss that cling to them, but their shapes still hold meaning, as if they are telling a story that has yet to be fully understood. Some of the walls depict scenes of people in ceremonial dress, their hands raised to the sky, their faces filled with reverence. Others show the sea, vast and infinite, with ships crossing its waters, their sails billowing in the wind, carrying the islanders' voices across the waves. The village, though now empty, still holds the sense of something greater. It is as if the very stones are waiting to be remembered, waiting for someone to hear the song that once filled these shores. The people who lived here, though long gone, believed that through music, through their connection to the land and sea, they could touch the divine. Their songs were not mere melodies, but prayers, prayers to the gods of the ocean, the stars, and the earth, asking for protection, for wisdom, for harmony. The deeper you venture into the village, the more the air seems to hum with the memory of these songs. The stone structures now stand silent, their roofs long collapsed, but still, they hold a sense of reverence. Perhaps it was not the buildings themselves that made the place sacred, but the people, their belief in the connection between the earthly and the divine. The songs they sang were not just for themselves, but for the land, for the sea, for the stars above them. It is said that when they sang, the islands themselves seemed to respond, the waves rising and falling in time with their melodies, the wind carrying their voices across the water to other lands, other shores. Yet, as you stand in the heart of the village, a question lingers in the air. What happened to the people who once lived here? What caused the songs to fade, the voices to fall silent? Some believe that a great storm came, one so fierce that it swept the people away, erasing their presence from the islands entirely. Others whisper of a gradual disappearance, the islanders leaving the sacred land in search of something new, something unknown. Perhaps, as with all things, the people simply faded into the past, their songs lost in the wind. The mystery deepens as you stand before a large stone structure at the center of the village. It is not a building, but a monument, a raised platform covered in carvings, now worn and faded, but still holding an undeniable presence. Some say this was the place where the islanders came to make their offerings, where they gave thanks to the gods and asked for guidance. The stone is worn smooth by the touch of countless hands, and as you rest your palm against it, you feel the faintest pulse, as if the island is still alive, still waiting for its song to be sung once more. As the moon climbs higher in the sky, casting its soft light across the village, the silence grows deeper. The wind stirs the leaves, but the air is thick with the weight of the past. The songs that once filled the air are now lost, their echoes fading with the passage of time, leaving only the quiet rustle of the trees, the distant hum of the ocean, and the soft pulse of the land beneath your feet. Perhaps it was never meant to be found, this song of the islands. Perhaps it was always meant to fade, to drift away with the wind, to be carried on the waves, never to be fully understood. And yet, even in its silence, the song remains, like a memory that lingers long after the music has ended. The islands may be forgotten, their voices lost to time, but their song lives on, carried in the breeze, in the rhythm of the waves, in the soft hum of the earth, waiting to be heard again when the world is ready. Perhaps some songs are meant to be heard only once, their beauty fading, not in silence, but in the spaces between the notes. And as the night deepens and the stars rise higher above the ocean, you are left with the quiet hum of the islands, their song still lingering in the air, waiting like a dream for someone to listen. The secret of the crystal cavern, far beneath the surface of the earth, in the shadows of towering mountains and the hidden crevices of forgotten caves, there lies a cavern, a secret place, untouched by the sun, where the air is cool and thick with the scent of stone and time. This cavern, ancient and veiled in mystery, holds within it treasures not of gold or jewels, but of a different kind of beauty, the crystal, glowing softly in the dark, casting their faint light across the walls, like forgotten stars, long lost to the sky. Here, in the silent stillness of the underground world, secrets have been kept for centuries, waiting for the right soul to discover them. The journey begins at the mouth of the cavern, where the land is barren and quiet, the wind still, as though the earth itself is holding its breath. The entrance to the cave is hidden, barely noticeable beneath a canopy of vines and moss, as if the cavern seeks to remain forgotten. The air is heavy as you step inside, the darkness wrapping around you like a blanket, only broken by the soft flicker of your torch. The walls are damp, the air cool and sweet, as if it has not seen the light of day in centuries. And beneath the weight of the silence, there is a strange sense of calm, a feeling that the world above has ceased to exist, that here, in this forgotten place, time itself slows, if not stops. It is said that the cavern was not discovered by accident, but by those who sought it, drawn by a whisper carried on the wind, a call from beneath the earth that reached into the hearts of those who dared listen. They believed that the crystals within the cavern were not just beautiful, but sacred, that they held the power to unlock the deepest mysteries of existence, that they could bridge the gap between the mortal and the divine. The crystal, glowing faintly in the darkness, were seen not as mere stones, but as beacons, lights in the deep that guided those who were ready to see what others could not. The deeper you venture into the cavern, the more the air seems to thrum with ancient energy, as if the very stones beneath your feet are alive with a force you cannot quite understand. The walls are lined with crystals of all sizes, their surfaces smooth and reflective, glowing softly in the dim light of your torch. Some of the crystals are small, mere shards, while others rise from the earth like towers, their jagged edges catching the light and casting strange shadows across the cavern. The larger crystals pulse with a quiet rhythm, as though they are breathing, as though they are waiting for something or someone to discover them. It is said that the ancient people who once entered this cavern did not come seeking riches, but enlightenment. They believed that the crystal held the answers to questions that had troubled humanity for ages. Questions about the soul, the nature of time, and the mysteries of the universe. To them, the crystals were not just objects to be admired, but tools of transformation, capable of unlocking hidden wisdom, of bridging the divide between the earthly and the celestial. Some believe that the crystals were formed not by natural forces, but by divine hands, shaped and molded to carry within them a secret knowledge, one that could only be revealed to those who were pure of heart and open of mind. As you walk deeper into the cavern, the soft light of the crystal grows stronger, casting the entire space in a muted glow, as though the very essence of the earth is alive with light. The walls of the cavern begin to shift, becoming more intricate, adorned with strange markings that seem to pulse in time with the crystals. The carvings are worn, almost illegible, but their shapes are familiar: spirals, circles, and symbols that suggest something greater, something beyond the boundaries of time and space. They speak of ancient wisdom, of knowledge passed down through generations, of teachings that were once understood but are now lost to the shadows of time. As you stand in the heart of the cavern, surrounded by these ancient crystals, the mystery deepens. What was this place once? Who were the people who built it? Who came here seeking answers? What secrets did they uncover? And what was lost when they left? The crystal, though silent, seemed to hold the answers, not in words, but in their presence. The light they cast is not harsh or bright, but soft, gentle, as though they are inviting you to look deeper, to see what lies beneath the surface. The deeper you look into the crystal, the more you feel a sense of connection, not just to the cavern, but to something far greater, something eternal. The crystals seem to speak in a language of light, their silent messages slowly unfolding like the petals of a flower, their secrets revealing themselves not in haste, but in quiet moments of reflection. The cavern, once a place of mystery, becomes a mirror, a place where you are drawn into the depths of your own soul, where you confront the questions you have always carried within you, the truths that you have long since forgotten. But just as the answers begin to emerge, just as you feel that you are on the brink of understanding, the cavern falls silent. The crystals cease their gentle pulse, their light fading, leaving you in the dark. The mystery of the cavern remains just out of reach, as though the knowledge it holds is not meant to be uncovered, but only glimpsed. The cavern does not provide answers, but asks questions, questions that linger unanswered in the stillness of the dark. Perhaps the true secret of the cavern is not the crystals themselves, but the quiet of the space, the way it draws you inward, inviting you to seek your own truths, your own understanding of the mysteries that lie within. And as you begin to turn back, the light of the crystals fades completely, and the silence of the cavern deepens. The walls are now dark, the air still, as though the earth itself has gone to sleep, waiting for the next seeker to come and discover its secrets. The cavern, though quiet, is not empty. It holds within it the echoes of those who came before, their voices carried in the soft hum of the earth, in the faint light of the crystals. Some mysteries, it seems, are not meant to be solved, but felt, like the gentle pull of the earth, like the quiet whisper of a dream. As you leave the cavern and step back into the world above, the silence remains with you. Perhaps the secret of the cavern is not in what it reveals, but in what it keeps hidden, a reminder that some truths are not meant to be understood, but only experienced, like the light of the crystals, fading slowly into the dark. Some voices, only echo when we are ready to listen. Perhaps one day the cavern will call again. Until then, it waits, its secret held in the silence, beneath the earth, in the soft pulse of the crystals.